We're gonna look it up, figure it out. Yeah.
I apologize, I got sidetracked.
That's my trick.
No, I'm being honest.
I don't know about that. I'm not making any claims like that.
You don't think I'm honest?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. If you will please stand with me as we have Pastor William Mitchell give our invocation.
Let's pray. Eternal God, we thank you for this day and for the opportunity to gather in service to our community. We acknowledge that you are the source of wisdom, justice, and truth, and we invite your presence into this meeting. Grant our city leaders discernment as they make decisions that affect many lives. Guide their hearts to seek what is right, their minds to pursue understanding, and their actions to reflect humility and compassion. Lord, bless our city with peace and unity. Protect our first responders, strengthen our families, care for the vulnerable, and help us to be good stewards of the resources entrusted us. As your word reminds us, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. We ask now for that wisdom, not for personal gain, but for the good of all. We offer this prayer. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. I now call this meeting to order. All right, today we have with us two students from Atchison High School, and we also have their principal, Dr. Letitia Williams, in the back. Thank you, Dr. Williams, for coming. And before we get into the proclamation, I will ask our two students from Atchison High School, from the FBLA, to give us brief introductions. We have Mr. Daryl Julo and Ms. Cameron Provost. Mr. Julo.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Daryl Julo, and I represent the Future Business Leaders of America chapter of Atchison High School, and I serve as the chapter president currently, where I work with all officers to set and execute all program of work initiatives. FBLA is a career and technical student organization that prepares students for careers in business, leadership, and service. Across the country, FBLA connects classrooms, learning real work experiences through competition, leadership development, and professional development opportunities. I could go on about the organization at a national level, but today we're going to talk a little bit about what we do locally. One way our chapter stays focused throughout the year is by centering everything we do around three core pillars: career readiness, leadership development, and partnership with our community. Every major event this year connects back to at least one of these three areas, and it is important to note that these are the areas our officer team chose to focus on when creating this year's program of work. Back in August, our officer team participated in officer training at the RS Box here in Atchison. This experience was both a leadership opportunity and an example of our strong ties to the community. Shortly after, 3 of our members attended the National Fall Leadership Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to let Cameron circle back to that one in a minute. One of the most impactful events we've had this year was hosting Reality U, which is a financial literacy simulation for 8th graders and sophomores who attend Atchison Public Schools. Reality U gives students a realistic look at adult life by assigning them careers, salaries, families, and monthly expenses. Students must budget for things like housing, transportation, insurance, and food, which forces them to make informed financial decisions. This experience helps them understand and strongly reinforces their partnership with the community. We also had over 30 volunteers from the community, some of whom are in this room, and we appreciate their generosity for their time during that session. In addition, our chapter successfully secured 10 corporate sponsorships from local businesses this year. These sponsorships are incredibly important to us, and we are grateful for their support. Their contributions are what allow us to cover the cost of competition and ensure that every one of our members can compete at districts and at the State Leadership Conference free of charge, removing the financial barrier and increasing access to all students. In January, our members competed at the district conference at Benedictine College with 10 other Northeast Kansas area schools. We had several impressive stats from this conference, including 3 first places, with nearly every member placing and top 10 in at least one event, and one member who was awarded the Future Business Leader Award, which is the highest recognition of the conference. These results reflect the dedication, preparation, and professionalism of our members. I'm now going to turn it over to Cameron, and she's going to talk a little bit about our upcoming FBLA week and her experience at the National Fall Leadership Conference.
Good afternoon. My name is Cameron Provis, and I serve as the Public Relations Officer for our FBLA chapter. As Public Relations Officer, my role is to promote FBLA within our school and community, highlight our member accomplishments, and communicate all things FBLA through social media events and outreach. This year, I had the opportunity to attend FBLA National Leadership Conference in Phoenix, Arizona, which was an incredibly meaningful experience for me. While in Phoenix, I was able to network with FBLA members all across the country, build new connections, and learn with students who shared the same passion. I participated in workshops that covered a variety of topics, from leadership development to communication and personal growth. It was an experience that truly showed me the impact FBLA can have, and I hope more students are able to take part in this opportunity in the future. Looking ahead, one of the ways our chapter builds engagement through FBLA Week, which begins next Monday. Each day is set by the National Center, but we elaborate on the specific opportunities of each day. We will begin with Make Your Mark Monday, where we will hold a chapter meeting and hear from Speaker Miss Young, which followed by an award ceremony recognizing our members who place at districts. On Trailblazer Tuesday, members will have the opportunity to attend Trivia Night. Why Wednesday will be our Chapter Spirit Day, where members will wear their chapter t-shirts to promote awareness throughout the school. On this day, our chapter president will also attend the National President's Forum, representing our chapter at the national level. For Thankful Thursday, we will focus on appreciation towards our chapter advisor and our state advisor. We will finish this week with Finance Friday, where our members will have the opportunity to compete in financial literacy competition. In addition, the Phoenix Cafe, which is operated by our chapter, will hold a special FBLA drinks to all students.
And as we look ahead, our chapter is preparing for the State Leadership Conference, which will take place at the Stormont Vale Event Center at the end of March. Here, our members are going to compete against several thousands of students from across the state in over 70 business-related events. This opportunity gives many of our members hopes of advancing to the national stage this summer in San Antonio, Texas. On a personal note, I am especially excited for the State Leadership Conference, as I will be campaigning for a state officer candidate over the 3-day conference. This experience will allow me to further represent my school, my community, and our state in a multitude of different events across the state, as well as on the national stage. Again, through leadership development, career readiness experiences, and strong ties to our community, our chapter continues to grow and make a positive impact on our school and community. I would also like to note that we are always eager to grow our partnerships with the businesses and community members who invest in our students and the future of our community. We are so proud of what we've accomplished this year and are grateful for the support of our community as we move forward. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have at this time.
Great. Gentlemen, commissioners, do we have any questions?
I think they covered it pretty well.
All right. Okay, very good. Dr. Williams, did you have something to add?
I just want to add that I'm super proud of Daryl and Cameron. They do represent our school community so well. Not just involved in FBLA, but they're involved in band, K Club, I mean, just a multitude of things. And so I think that's the beauty of it. Excited that we're able
You.
to here who is our wonderful teacher at our building, so she knows firsthand how wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And well done. Well done, both of you. Well done, both of you. And yes, Dr. Williams is absolutely right. The students at Atchison High School work extremely hard, and we're very proud of them, and these are two examples of them. So therefore, it gives me great pleasure to present this proclamation to you. Whereas Future Business Leaders of America, Inc., FBLA, is a nonprofit educational organization whose first chapter was established in Johnson City, Tennessee in 1942. And whereas Iowa became FBLA's first state chapter in 1947. And whereas Atchison High School officially chartered its FBLA local chapter in August 2021. And whereas FBLA includes more than 250,000 members and advisors in 4,600 chapters nationwide in middle schools, high schools, colleges, universities, career and technical schools, and private business schools. And whereas FBLA is a professional business organization dedicated to bringing business and education together in a positive working relationship through innovative leadership and career development programs. And whereas FBLA members perform community service activities and strive to build a student's understanding of the realities of the modern business world. And whereas FBLA teaches middle school, high school, and college students basic business and leadership principles and assists them in the transition from school to work. Now, therefore, I, La Rochelle Young, Mayor of the City of Atchison, do hereby proclaim February 8th through the 14th, 2026, as National FBLA Week in the City of Atchison, Kansas, dated this second day of February 2026. Congratulations, and if you all will come up, I will present this, and you can have to come right up here, and we'll take a picture. Gentlemen, if you can remain seated, and we'll just be behind you. Pose. Okay, all right, okay.
Look up,
Can you
Mike.
see the?
Look up, Mike.
Do we need to move the chair? Okay. Okay, all right, congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
I will have to say their sponsor is Ann Hutchinson, and she has done an amazing job with our students at FBLA, and she is out of town at a conference this week. But I do want to say how amazing she is with our FBLA.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations again. Okay, all right. Thank you again. And again, just as a community, as leaders, as business leaders, definitely the importance of supporting our youth and ensuring that they have the proper tools to lead us in the future. I can't say enough about that. So at this time, Tina, if you could call the roll.
Mayor Young,
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Present.
Commissioner Murphy,
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Next, we will have our public forum. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for information purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk. And do we have anyone? All right, seeing as we do not, we will close the public forum now. All right, consent agenda presented by Mr. Westhoff, our city manager. Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor. So 2 items on the consent agenda tonight. The first is to approve the meeting minutes of the January 20th, 2026 City Commission meeting. And the second is to approve the purchase of 2 2026 police patrol vehicles from Davis Moore Dodge in the amount of $80,968, plus installation of equipment totaling up to $90,000. This is a budgeted item in the ERP this year, and we are planning to use the patrol vehicles that are being replaced for other uses within the city. So,
All right, any questions? Okay,
Is that something we can do in the shop to transfer that equipment from the older ones to the new ones, do you know?
Yes, not to the new ones, but the two that are going to be repurposed, we'll
Yes.
take care of taking the equipment out, pull the graphics off. We do all that in-house. The equipment installation for the new cars is something that's pretty complex, a lot of wiring, and it's done at Midwest Mobile in St. Joe, and then it also covers the graphics, as you see. We'll have those put on, so. Repurposing the old ones, yes, we'll do in shop. The new ones, it's just too complex of wiring, and it takes a couple days of 3 or 4 professionals up there working on it that are used to doing that kind of thing.
How'd the sale of those turn out from last year? You know, the ones we sold last year? Did they?
I don't believe we ended up,
We
we
repurposed them too.
repurposed those at the request of the city commission last year.
One of them went to Public Works for use by the janitorial service because they do multiple buildings. And the second one went to SRO. Because again, to remind the commission, we budget each year 2 patrol vehicles and 1 what we call special use. So last year, to avoid having to spend money on special use, in that case SRO, school officer, we repurposed one of the patrol cars to that, so we didn't have to spend that money. The same thing this year. One of the 2 that we're going to repurpose is going to go to animal control, which we had funding, as you would see, for that. We won't have to spend that. So we repurposed both of them last year because to meet some of the discussions that we've had, we're trying to prolong the vehicles, so they're still being prolonged. It's just saving us from purchasing other vehicles.
Yeah.
Good deal.
all right. Any other questions, concerns? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as read.
Make such a motion.
Is there a second?
Second it.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Is there a question? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. On our new business, general obligations bond overview and financing plan, Mr. Westhoff.
Yeah, so just a little background information that the commission is aware of, but for anyone who's interested. In the past, the city has generally issued a general obligation bond on a 3-year cycle to do large-scale street improvement projects, like I said, on a 3-year cycle. 2026 was the next on that schedule, and so we've begun the process by identifying the street projects that we would like to pursue and beginning the conversation with bond counsel and our public finance firm, Stifel. We have Mr. David Arterberry here tonight to do a presentation of what that might look like. There's no action needed tonight, but he's going to present this to you, the plan, the potential financing, and take any questions or recommendations from the commission.
Thank you, Mark, and good evening. Again, David Arterberry with Stifel Nicholas. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a while since the city's issued any bonds, so just to kind of introduce or reintroduce myself, I work with the Public Finance Department of Stifel Nicholas. I work with a lot of cities and counties in Kansas on the issuance of municipal bonds. And I've had the pleasure of working with the city of Atchison for quite a few years, going back, I believe, to City Manager Joe Turner, who you might see on a list that been here a while back. What I wanted to do, as Mark mentioned, is just kind of go through with you what this issue might look like, and then talk a little bit about the process that the city goes through to issue bonds. This is a very similar issue to what the city did back in 2023 and in 2020 and in 2017. So it's not anything that's out of the ordinary for the city. If you'd want to turn here to the first page of the handout after the table of contents, on here you'll see a preliminary list of the streets that would be improved with the proceeds from this bond issue.
Commissioners, that's page 17 of your agenda packet.
Agenda packet.
Sorry.
says up at the top of the page, preliminary list of candidate streets. And this is something Mark and Clinton and I kind of went through. And you might just take a look at these different projects. I think these are still subject to change, but these have been initially the streets that have been identified to be part of this funding program. On the next page, which I guess should be probably your page 18, what you'll see here is a fairly detailed calendar of events for the bond issue. This goes through all of the different steps and events that would need to occur in order to authorize and issue the bonds. I highlighted on here in yellow action items, or activity, I should say, for the City Commission. You'll see up at the top there today, February 2nd, just review the financing plan. And as Mark mentioned, there's no action required. If things go as planned, then we would return to you on the 17th of February. And on that date, you'd be looking at doing two things. One is, to the extent that you need to establish legal authority to issue bonds for any of these projects, you would take action to do that. There might be ordinances or resolutions in front of you to establish the authority to improve these roads. So we sort of call that authorizing resolutions or authorizing ordinances. So that would be one thing you need to do. And then the other thing you need to do is officially adopt a resolution authorizing the sale of the bonds, or we call it sometimes a go-to-market or a sale resolution. That would be the other step. Now, that's not authorizing bonds to actually be issued. That's simply authorizing a sale to be conducted. The final activity that you would then have, if things go on schedule, is on April 6th. That's when the actual bond sale would occur. And we would return to you then at your meeting that afternoon with the final results in hand. And at that point, you'd be asked to adopt a final bond ordinance and resolution. And that will officially authorize the issuance of the bonds. And it will lock in the interest rate that you got at the sale that was conducted earlier in the day. So that's the final and big step. Even though that's the final step, at that point, the bonds will have been sold, and we will anticipate, or the people that bid on the bonds will expect, that you will be approving the resolution. So to the extent that you've got questions, it's best to address them today or at your meeting on February 17th, rather than waiting until the day of the sale. We want to make sure there's no questions at that point. And then, again, if things go as scheduled, the issue, there'd be no action required, but on April 29th, the issue would close and the city would be delivered the bond proceeds and be able to then spend it on the projects. Between the February meetings and the April meeting, that's when us and staff and legal counsel will spend a lot of time having a rating assigned to the bonds, doing due diligence work, preparing the offering documents, advertising for the sale. So sort of all the prep work leading up to the bond sale. So that's sort of the issuance schedule. And again, it's very similar to the process that the city went through 3 years ago. On the next page here, what you'll see is an estimated payment schedule on the new bond issue. You'll see that the principal amount is estimated to be $1.8 million. And it's a 10-year issue. The average annual interest rate, based on current rates, is just a little above 3%. I'm looking at about an estimate of about 3.07%. That's just an estimate. That rate won't be locked in until the bonds are sold in April. Hopefully, maybe rates will come down and that rate and the payments will be a little bit lower. And then finally, on the last page here, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of context as to where interest rates have been over the last few years. This is a graph of very, very highly rated, AAA rated municipal bonds. The red or kind of orange colored line is the rate for a 20-year maturity, and the blue line is the rate for the 10-year maturity. And probably the blue line would be more appropriate to look at here because you're looking at selling a 10-year bond issue. And what you'll see there is, rates have actually the rates are about the lowest level they've been since, late 2024, which is a nice position to be in. But, when you go back and you look at where they've been over the last, 4 years, they're sort of in about the middle range of where interest rates have been. So, again, hopefully, rates might drop between now and April, but, that rate will then be locked in when those bonds are sold.
And I'll note, when we were looking at the list of projects and considering, what we might recommend to the city commission, you'll note that the previous bond issuance in 2023 was a little over 1.4 million. We are recommending a slightly larger set of projects for this time around, including some that will likely push into 2027 for the final 3 projects on the list in particular, with Unity Street and North 5th, because this year in 26, those sections are scheduled to receive new sidewalks and curbs, and so there won't be enough time, most likely, to also repave those streets after the sidewalk projects are done, as well as Woodlawn in particular, because we are in communications with KDOT to try to determine how much of that would be their responsibility as they currently direct highway traffic over it. So those would theoretically be pushed to 2027. So in some ways, this 1.8 million, we're attempting to get kind of 2 years worth of street improvement projects with that. And part of the reasoning that we were open to that this time around was the projection from Stiefel of these rates at around the average around 3.07. The 2023 issuance, I believe the average was 3.57.
Yep.
So slightly better than we've had in the past. 2020 was probably much lower, just because 2020 rates were kind of in the basement. But it's a decent place where I think we can leverage that to get a little more of the infrastructure upgraded that we need.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have questions?
Well, I mean, while there are quite a few streets that are listed here for candidates to be repurposed, I think it's good to note that everybody who has a street that they'd like to have done, and that's not going to happen, there's just not enough money to go around to be able to accomplish all the projects simultaneously. You're probably looking at $10, $15 million.
Yeah, so another side of this is this list does not include the projects that we have within our annual paving budget. So there are more projects that will be completed than this list. This list is only those connected with the bond issuance. But at the same time, yes, you're correct. I believe that there's close to $3 million worth of improvements that would be on our kind of immediate list of streets. And if you went down the rabbit hole of how much would you want to do with, brick streets and concrete streets in town, yes, you would be getting into those large 10 to 15 million numbers. The reality is infrastructure is expensive, and most cities are kind of behind that replacement timeline as we are as well. So
On the other hand, though, I mean, this is an aggressive list of projects that will be able to be completed with this bond.
Yeah, and on the 17th, we plan to have a map for you all kind of showing that where these are, and you'll see that they, spread across the city, north to south, east to west. So it is, spread throughout the city. But obviously, it's not every single street, as you say, Vice Mayor. So
number 13, Unity,
yes.
2nd to 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Is that encompassing the sidewalks and lighting and
so that is part of another program. The sidewalks and lighting and curb will all be completed this year. The preference is to get it done this year. And the grant, and that's through a grant, through actually several grants that we've received from the state of Kansas to complete those projects in 2026.
But the grants, those grants,
They do
don't
not cover paving.
paving.
Correct. Yeah, they are only for sidewalks and pedestrian improvements.
okay.
Yeah, so we want to complete those first and then would do mill and overlay up to the new sidewalk and curb.
Have we heard anything from KDOT in terms of what they could help us out with on Woodlawn?
Have you heard anything recently, Clinton? No. We continue to reach out to them. It's an interesting situation there. Woodlawn used to be part of their designation as a connecting link between highway systems. It's clearly the most logical path for that highway traffic to connect, specifically up to North K7. Some years ago, they removed it from their connecting links list. I can't give you the exact date, but they continue to direct highway traffic that way. So our argument to them is it should go back on that list and they should contribute to it the way they do with other connecting links. Some of that section is their responsibility though, and so we would not be able to redo the entire stretch of Woodlawn even if we wanted to do it because it's technically,
Well, the intersection there.
the large intersection there is theirs. That's the state's responsibility, yes.
When it says there main to service, what's that service mean?
Service road. For that intersection, yeah.
All right, any other questions? Concerns? Mr. Sifo, anything additional?
No?
Okay.
for me.
Okay, thank you for the briefing. It's very
you. Have a
important.
good evening.
Very timely.
Get us a good
You
rate.
have another question?
I
Yeah.
just have one more question. I don't know who's going to answer it.
We have one more question.
Um,
Commissioner Murphy.
Is this program and the debt service that we're going to have with this is already budgeted?
Well, debt service is part of the budget every year.
I mean, it's in our budget.
It is not in the 2026 budget because it does not impact until the 2027 budget. So we will have to account for it in the 2027 budget. You can see on the payoff schedule that, well, in this other report that he gave, in 2027, we will still have a final payment in 27 for a previous street bond, for the 17 street bond that will then fall off. So in 2027, there will be a slight overlap where we will be paying for both of those bonds. So that's something that we'll have to consider during the budgeting process for 2027. In 2028, that older bond will fall off and be theoretically replaced in the schedule with this new one.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we do, and we do account for, so the city receives from the state a certain amount of money every year, our share of different statewide gas taxes, highway taxes that are collected, and the city receives a share of that. And that goes straight into our debt service payments for these street bonds. It does not cover the entirety of the debt service payment for those street bonds, but it covers a very large percentage of it. And so that's revenue that we receive from the state that must be spent on streets of some kind.
Well, that did answer my question.
So,
though.
yes.
Where this money comes from is we have to service the debt,
Yes.
and it's nice to know that the state is sending us some money to help.
Again, it doesn't cover the entire amount, but we do use that money that we receive from the state to offset the debt service payments for the the general obligation bonds that have been spent on street and road projects in the past. So,
Right, any other questions? Okay, if
Thank you.
not, thank you. All right, next we have the occupational license for Ravens Inc., DBA Mueller's Locker Room, presented by Mr. Westhoff.
Okay, so just as we have had in the past, these occupational licenses generally go in the consent agenda. Thank you, David. We pulled this one out because it is a business owned by Commissioner or Vice Mayor Wilcox. In the past, you all have requested the opportunity to abstain from those votes. So,
Okay, so at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the occupational license for Raven Inc.'s DBA Mueller's Locker Room.
I move we approve that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the occupational license for Ravens Inc., DBA Mueller's Locker Room. Are there any questions? If not, we're ready for a vote. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
abstain.
All right, motion passes with Vice Mayor abstaining and 4 yeses. All right, communication.
Okay, we have 2 items in communications. They're both commission or board meeting minutes. Excuse me. The first is from the Atchison Housing Authority Board meeting of November 18th, 2025. The second is from the Atchison Public Library Board meeting from November 24th, 2025.
Okay.
We didn't have anything of note in those meeting minutes.
Okay. All right, any questions for Mr. Westhoff on informational communications items? Okay, if not, our informational items and your city manager update.
So for how cold it's been, we actually have a fair bit of construction going on around town. Kind of takes a break in those cold snaps, but it's kicking back up again today. One of those is the water main replacement project that's taking place up at 12th and Riley, Mound Drive. The mayor is intimately aware
Yes,
of it, I
I
believe. The work kind of slowed down during the cold snap a little bit, but they're picking back up. They have completed valves and tie-ins on 12th Street last week and are continuing the work into Mound Drive this week.
And they are, I do have to say, they are working steadily.
Yeah.
They are working steadily, so we appreciate it.
We do still encourage folks to kind of avoid that area. If you can go around, it's certainly better. You can get through if you live there, obviously, but it's a little tricky.
It is.
Another one that impacts the commission is Patriot Street Bridge. That project is ongoing as well. The contractor is building their forms and putting in reinforcement for the deck. And they're hoping to pour concrete on that next week, or this week, excuse me, if the weather cooperates. Elephant Park, the basketball court light poles are installed. Next, the lighting will go up. The picnic shelter footings will be installed next week, and then the shelter installation after that. The splash pad is really actually mostly done. You'll see all the dirt work piled up around there, and we'll be spreading that out, getting it regraded and seeded when the weather turns so it can green up by the summer. The 15th Street Sewer Separation Project is 95% complete on design. And so we're beginning to work on our temporary and permanent easements that we have to acquire in that area. I believe it's not as extensive as the last separation project on that side of town, but we are working with getting those easements acquired. Just to note that outside of those easements, a reminder that this project is going to be fully funded by the Army Corps of Engineers through the congressionally directed spending that the city received. So it's a benefit of that project, and it will be the first, when it's completed, the first actual full CSO separation completion step. So that's good news as well. Wastewater treatment plant, we've been undergoing communication upgrades out there that are now complete. And we've begun looking at possibly an internet upgrade for out there. They're kind of in a bit of a dead zone. And it's more and more needed every day at every site. As you could see across the street, Botteroff Construction is working on the sidewalk projects outside of Project Concern. NRP update, the county has sent us their draft of the proposed new NRP agreement, so staff is reviewing that. We will present our recommendation to the city commission in the future soon. The county commissioners have also requested a joint public hearing on that new NRP agreement on March 16th, which would fall after the city's regularly scheduled commission meeting that night. So I wanted to let you all know about it. Please let me know how you feel, if you want to do the joint public hearing with them, or if you want to have our own public hearing since you're meeting the same day. Not really sure what your preference would be. And I didn't know if, we'll get a legal opinion on their request for that joint public hearing and how it might look.
Yeah, I think the legal opinion on it would be very helpful.
So,
Yeah.
But that is moving forward. I think the target of April 1st is still on the table for the day that those programs kind of switch over to the new one.
Okay, and that's the neighborhood revitalization program.
Correct, the neighborhood revitalization program. I just wanted to kind of update on some major construction projects that are going on around the city that are not ours, but are of interest, I think. The feedback I've gotten on the first steps with Abbey construction is it continues to go well. They have a projection to open in the spring and early summer, so new childcare positions there, or slots opening up. I'm sure they'll be hiring as well. I think they've even advertised some new jobs there.
That's great.
Valley Hope is targeting to begin their large renovation project end of this month as well. And Nutrient Ag has let us know that they're planning to break ground on their project at the Shannon Industrial Park at the end of this month. And as you can see, home construction continues throughout the city, weather permitting. Raven Hills area, 7th Street, infill lots throughout the city. And city staff continues to take meetings and have conversations about potential projects throughout the city. So there's a lot of positive momentum right now that we're trying to continue moving forward. To that end, I'll just note, as I did last meeting when I was here, that we have quite a few job openings at the city right now, including our temporary summer positions that are full-time in the summer, some are part-time in the summer. Particularly, we're looking for a new pool manager. We'd love to have qualified candidates submit to that, so you could check the city website. Chamber Banquet is this weekend. You have in front of you there if any of you would like to attend. And last, I just wanted to speak a little bit about the fire at 2nd and Santa Fe, the McKelvey home. First, I wanted to give major shout out to Chief Weiser and the fire crew. Everybody was called in on that one, so they fought a very difficult fire. Difficult conditions in one of Atchison's most historic homes, I would say. They were out in extremely cold temperatures, and they did everything they could to save the structure and the historic integrity of the home, while also preventing the fire from spreading to homes nearby in a pretty tight little neighborhood there. So, according to Chief, they were successful in that effort and were able to save as much as possible of the home. So again, just a huge thank you and a shout out to our fire department. Fire like that also takes a big, broad effort. So I also wanted to say thank you to the police department, streets, and water department, as well as our partners. We have Atchison Salvation Army came to help. Evergy, Kansas Gas are always involved in large fires like that. And obviously Atchison County Ambulance and Dispatch were involved. So just a really multi-agency effort up there with our fire department leading the way to save that home. So major props to you guys for that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Westhoff. Appreciate it. All right. Now we need to I will just move that we enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 754319 subsection B, subsection 1. And how long do we need for that? Do you
2 to 3
think?
hours.
How about 15 minutes? Well,
About
15
a minute and a half.
Yeah.
20
All right.
minutes?
20, did you say? Okay, so we will, let's say we will begin at 5:15 and we will end at 5:35. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we move into executive session at 5:15, ending at 5:35. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're in executive session. Okay, shall we?
I don't think they closed it. Oh, for the sale, I'm sorry. The 9th, February 9th. Yep.
There's the first error.